Hey, welcome back here to the Central PA Port. If you can take a look, we are not in studio. We are in location. Off to my left is Mr. Dave. You're not saying anything?
Howdy, Dave.
Not after the last comment you made. I was rolling along there pretty good until you just
Bam.
threw me right under the bus.
Off to my right is my son, Ben, and Mr. Kevin is not here. And in studio, not in studio, on location, it's Starview Brews down here in Columbia. We have Mr. Mike Noll
Thank you.
and Amy, and I apologize, I do not remember your last name.
Motter.
Modern.
From the Motters of Columbia.
Modders of Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of them around.
So we're on location here to do another food pairing. We just were at the Winter Brew Fest, had a great time there. Mike and Amy were there, and we're on the episode a little bit, and we talked about this, and lo and behold, here we are.
Here we are,
A week later. That's
Literally, yeah.
a week later.
That's quick.
That's
Must have
quick.
done something right.
Yes.
I didn't even take the equipment down in the studio. I just left it in the garage. So Mike and Amy, tell us a little bit about Starview Brews. I mean, we had you on back in season 2, I think it was. Let me look at my notes.
I think it was about 2 years ago.
So it was season 3, episode 5. So about 2 years ago. So we had you in studio to do a full episode, and here we are back down at now we're at your place to talk about your beers and food.
Appreciate y'all coming in and giving us the opportunity to discuss our restaurant, pub, and brewery.
Well,
One of the things we've got into is we like to do food as well as beer. I think you need to pair food well with beer. They go hand in hand. I mean,
Right.
yes, it does.
and one of the things that I grew up in my family in Indian Head, Maryland. My dad was in the Navy, and I first started cracking crabs when I was about 4 years old.
Oh,
That's where the love of seafood came for my family.
okay.
My father was a foodie,
Yeah.
and
And I remember when we had you on in studio, you talked about the crab cakes.
yes,
I came down here on my way home from a meeting in Lancaster. I'm like, I'm stopping by Mike. I'm going to see it.
I remember that well.
And the freaking crab cakes were phenomenal. They were big. I actually couldn't eat them all. I took them home.
Well, it's an imperial crab cake. There's no breading, and they're 8 ounce in size. So
Wow.
it's a big crab cake.
Nice.
And an all meat crab cake makes all the difference in the world.
It does. It does.
And recently now, what we're sampling here today is our Imperial Bisque. The idea came about from the Frank, who makes our flatbreads from Sunny Days Flatbreads in Lancaster. He ordered the crab cake and bisque, and he goes, takes the crab cake and goes, boom, right into the soup. And I looked at him, I said,
So cool.
that's an awesome idea.
He is so cool.
So that's what's on the menu now, and that's what we're going to be sampling today along with a Pilsner.
All right.
Would you like to add anything, Amy?
Yeah, I did not grow up in a seafood family. So everyone just raves about the crab cakes here. I love to see the look on people's faces when you put the plate down in front of them. They go,
Yeah.
it's really neat.
Well, Amy, how did you come about working here at Starview Brews?
I started coming here just as a person on the other side of the bar. I loved his beer. I saw he had a cream ale, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
Chickies Rock.
Yes,
Chickies
it was the Chickies Rock Cream Ale. And I remember when he was down in Marietta for a little bit. I'm like, I remember seeing the Chickies Rock Cream Ale. So it brought me in here, and it just so happened that day a ton of my family was here because we're all from Columbia, and I just was a repeat customer. And yeah,
And she came aboard baptism under fire. Tell them that story.
yeah, it was. You had trivia on a Wednesday night. I rushed over here to get here on time, and he had a line at the bar. And I work at Stevens College in Lancaster City, so I had that on my Stevens stuff. And I felt bad. You know, 'cause I've previously worked at another brewery, and I love bartending. And I whispered, I said, Mike, do you need help? He goes, I think I got it. I said, well, if you need me to jump behind the bar, I will. It's no problem. And probably about 10 minutes later, trivia just started. He goes, were you being serious? I said, yeah, sure. So I jumped behind the bar, and
That night it was just Jackie and me, and she
Yeah.
was being run ragged. So I
Yeah,
jumped back in
yeah.
the kitchen while she went into
Mhm.
bartending. It really
yeah.
helped out tremendously.
And then I forgot to close. I didn't know what time the bar closed, and the regulars were here. I was like, oh,
They didn't say
they
anything.
didn't.
Oh, hell no.
No,
No.
Nope.
Mike doesn't
And you-
call last call. Just keep coming.
So around 9:45, he comes out and he goes, "Did you close the door and do last call?" I said, "When do you close?" And he said, 9. I said, "Well, oh, it's 9:45." And everyone just started laughing. Everyone's like, "We got her." And I know.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Oh, our regulars are something. They're like family, thank God, or else I would have rang their necks.
So-
But yeah, so for some reason, he's allowed me to come back and work.
After that display, definitely. Definitely for stuff.
So you still work at Stevens then?
Yes, that's my full-time job.
Okay. And this
Yep.
is part-time.
This is my.
This is beer money.
This
Yeah,
is
it is. I work for beer money. Yeah.
Yes.
But you're not drinking your revenue away, are you?
No,
Okay.
no, I'm not.
Drinking the paycheck away. So tell us a little bit about what's been going on with Starview Brews since we actually had you on with your episode. Anything new coming about besides some of the food that we're going to be talking about today?
We do have, we're not normally open on Sundays, but St. Patty's Day, the 16th, that's Sunday, we're actually going to be open for St. Patrick's weekend.
I did see there's a pub crawl with
Yeah.
some band, and you guys are part of it.
York Kilty Band.
Okay.
They're starting at John Wright. From John Wright, they go to Burning Bridge. Then they come over to Columbia and go to Union Station. Then they go to Lancaster Distillery, and they're going to finish up here.
Are they walking?
No, they have
Well,
a
that's the idea of a pub crawl.
they have a trolley taking them along. They got a lot of instruments.
Okay.
I could see that. That would be a crawl.
That would be fun if they did walk around town. They could do it.
They can do it. I mean, they do a
That's
pub
it.
crawl downtown York quite a bit. They'll do a Santa crawl. They'll probably do something for St.
I'm sure they used to have a big St. Patty's Day parade, York.
Yeah, they'll probably still do that. I don't want to go in, but.
Yeah.
All right, so we have some food sitting in front of us and some beer. And this is kind of the idea behind this is we come in, we
You get free
get food. We're getting free food, free beer. That's a no-brainer.
Well, then,
But we want to kind of sample what your guys are putting out and pair it with the beer that you're putting out. So maybe if people can get an idea of, the flavors and why we picked that beer or why you picked that beer to go with this plate. So tell us, you said this was the Imperial Bisque.
Imperial Bisque, yeah, it's the shrimp and scallop bisque.
Okay.
And when we make that, I actually use 4 pounds each of shrimp and scallops.
Whoa.
So there's no potatoes in it. The main course is actually shrimp and scallops.
I
And
can
then-
see it.
And then added with the crab cake on top, it makes such a decadent, delicious flavor.
And Dave took a picture of the presentation before,
Correct.
so we'll have that sitting right here.
It'll be sitting up there.
And you said about the Pilsner.
This is a Czech style Pilsner, which I thought would be very good and appropriate to go along with the bisque.
So the breadiness or the crispness of a Pilsner may offset some of the Old Bay seasonings
Well-
you use in seafood.
The Old Bay is pretty mild in this.
Okay.
You don't want Old Bay to be the main flavor coming through. It's not like eating hard shells, meaning where you got salt and all the
Yeah.
Old Bay on it,
Exactly.
and you're washing your hands because of all the Old Bay.
I don't like picking hard shells because it's too much work for a little bit of meat.
That's why I have crab cakes. So let's take a sample.
Yeah, let's try it out.
See what you think.
So see about this Imperial Bisque. Oh, wow.
if I can taste the old bowl, it's delicious.
That is rich.
It is rich.
Very rich.
That is very rich.
The Old Bay is not, like you said, it's very subtle. That has a lot of flavor. So here's the Pilsner.
Good old Czech style.
That crispness of the Pilsner does offset that seafood.
Yes.
I think it's a very good pairing.
It's perfect.
Nice.
You get the one thing about a Czech Pils versus a German Pils. German Pils are a little more bitter. They're more yellow in color, but they highlight the bitterness of the hop. The Czech Pils, you get some mild malt flavor, a little malt sweetness, but the subtle solid hop flavor comes through it. That's what makes the difference between a Czech and a German.
Okay.
Pils.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know
I
it
knew there was different flavors to it.
I prefer the Czech over the German, although I like them both.
Wow. I will recommend that bisque. And Amy, you're not a seafood person, you said.
This is my first time eating seafood.
You're not going to break out in hives or
No.
anything.
It tastes delicious. It does taste delicious. I love it. I like the just what it's the broth. The soup part is delicious.
It's very
It's
rich,
so
like
good.
Dave said.
Oh,
I can't get over how rich it is, how thick it is. It's delicious. Of course,
Wow.
I've eaten a lot of
There's a lot of cream,
Yes.
half, and
it's delicious.
butter. It's kind of like a cream of crab base,
It is. It's very good. But I
but
think
the shrimp and the scallop gives it a different flavor.
it does.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean, I remember when we had you in studio, you talked about your seafood. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to give it a whirl. And Mike, you're knocking it out of the fucking park.
It's a shame you don't live closer. I'd see you a lot more.
You would.
You need to start DoorDash in New York.
And the Pilsner, it does pair very well with that.
I thought that was a good combo.
I can see like an IPA as well going with this. The hoppiness of the citrus may offset that as well. So either a Pilsner or an IPA, I think would pair well with the seafood bisque.
Right, because of the richness.
Yep. But either one is good. I'm not one. To me, beer goes with everything. I don't care what it is. I'm going to eat and drink whatever's in front of me.
I can identify with that.
You know what? Even the cream ale might do you a good pairing with this
it's true.
in the summertime. Is that when you brew the Chickies Rock? Is that like more of your summer style?
No, I do that year round.
Okay.
Right now, it's not on tap just because I got 18 beers and 14 taps, so I rotate some.
Okay.
We actually have it in the cooler.
But the Pilsner, this Pilsner is very good. I think it's the first time I had your Pilsner, Mike. That's a good Pilsner.
But what you have to be careful is you don't want the beer to overwhelm the flavor of the food.
Correct.
And I've
You want it to
been
complement.
there. Yes, you want it to complement. You don't want it to overwhelm it. I've had a few beers that has overwhelmed the food, and you can't pair every beer with every food. It's like saying, we use a Pilsner for every food. That's not going to work.
No.
So
Oh, and he doesn't compare chocolate porter with an 8-ounce ribeye steak.
Well, we do have a tri-tip sandwich coming up second round. That's paired with a porter.
This is very good.
there you go.
Oh,
There you
look
go.
at you. Man, he could read your mind from across the river. That's another superpower.
So if somebody comes in here and orders the Imperial Bisque, what are they expecting to pay? I mean, this isn't going to be a cheap meal
No.
because of what's involved with it.
It's $33.95. That's with the crab cake in it. Crab cake by itself is, I think, $24.95. The bisque is usually, I think it's $10.50 a bowl. So ordering it together, it's like $2 cheaper than ordering it separate.
But it is well worth it.
It is.
That's
Yeah, if you price crab meat lately, it's not cheap.
There's nothing cheap at all anyway.
There's
No.
nothing cheap anymore.
Yeah, and we actually use blue crab, which is an Atlantic crab, not a red Chinese crab.
Okay.
okay.
So it's blue crab meat, which to me is one of the sweetest crab meats out there. And
That's why it's so popular.
Yes. And we use jumbo lump and lump to do our cakes.
You're not back there picking the hard shells?
No, did you notice you get a little shell here and there. It's the actual crab cake. If I picked them, it'd be half shell.
So that's what they mean on the half shell.
No.
Mike made it. It's on the half shell.
Speaking of half shells, yeah, I love oysters, but
Oh my.
not practical to have here. We tried them, we did oyster shooters for a while and they just didn't sell enough. But now we have a pound of steamed clams you can get. They sell well.
I love a
popular.
good raw oyster. Anytime I go out, if they got oysters, I'm ordering a dozen raw.
I gotcha.
We went to Florida. I was down in Florida at Amelia Island for a training event. So I was there a couple days early and went to a place that we went special, was a buck and oyster. I'm like, all right, I got a dozen. My wife ordered a dozen, shocked me. I ordered a second dozen, a buck and oyster. That's cheap.
And you notice those oysters are different than what we get here.
Oh, it depends on where you get them.
Well, a lot of them down in Florida, they're bigger, they're sweeter.
They are sweeter. They were bigger.
They don't have the salinity like, and I thought the salties were the best, and then I had them in Florida.
Yeah.
They were delicious.
Like if I go to a place and they got like a selection of oysters, because the oysters, like you're saying, depend on where they're coming from and what they're extracting out of the waters,
Yep.
their flavor,
Yep.
and they're very good. If you ever put oysters back on, you gotta call me, Mike. I'll be down. This is a very good pairing. So the Pilsner with the Imperial Bisque.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Ben?
It was pretty delicious. Said the flavor from Pilsner really soothed down the seafood. It was really good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very good.
Mhm.
And we'll get ready for the flatbread pizza.
Yeah. So tell us where they can find Starview Brews. What's your address? Are you on the web?
We are on the web. We're on Facebook. Facebook is Starview-Brews. Our original Facebook page got hacked. I actually had to create another one.
Mm.
That's why it's Starview-Brews. And www.starviewbrews.com is our website.
Mhm.
We're on Google. Our location here in Columbia is 224 Locust Street in Columbia.
Mhm.
We're just off Route 30 where you cross the Susquehanna River.
Now, have you done any collabs with any of the other local surrounding breweries?
Yeah, I did the Star Raving Mad we have on tap now. I did with Mad Chef.
Okay, that's Francisco
Star,
and Greg.
yes.
Yep.
Star Raving Mad, combination of both our
Okay.
names.
That's all right.
And Mad Chef, I thought that's the perfect name.
Oh yeah.
So
Right.
the first batch we did here about a year ago, and it's an English style barley wine.
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you're getting ready to open, and we got patrons walking in. We may have to put.
We're doing a podcast.
Yes,
We're perfectly fine to go walking into the bar. You're great. You're great.
So anything coming up for the springtime, summertime, other than the pub crawl you got going on?
We have Spring Fall coming up, which is a brew fest for the guild here in Lancaster.
Okay.
That's going to be at Lidditz Park, I believe.
Yes. Right down the street from the
That's
Lancaster Airport.
April 16th, I think.
12th.
April
Saturday,
12th.
April 12th. Yep.
Thank you.
No, no.
So that's why you have her along. She remembers all these things.
Yeah, I can't keep crap up here.
That's right.
It's like a sieve.
And the next big one in Columbia is Thunder on the River. Isn't that coming?
Thunder on the River is Father's Day weekend that Saturday. That's the biggest day of the year for us.
So what do they do? What's Thunder in the River?
They close Locust Street down from front up to 6th Street.
Okay.
And it's muscle cars, old antique cars.
So it's a car show.
It's an awesome car show.
Okay.
We open 9 o'clock in the morning for that. And we do a cocktail Bloody Mary. But it's an awesome car show. It's called Thunder on the River because at noon, everybody fires their engine up at the same time.
So-
Oh
At
wow.
12 o'clock.
That's
So you got
awesome.
500 cars starting all up at the same time.
Mhm.
Huh.
And these ain't no little weed eaters.
No. No.
So you mentioned social media, and I think when we talked to you at Winter Brew Fest, that's kind of your forte. Is you taking over the social media postings? So
Yeah.
We got somebody that knows what they're doing.
Are you sure about that?
I am. I am.
No, sometimes I'll post something and like, I forgot to proofread that.
Oh, no,
You're doing a good job.
You got Chat GPT now. AI will write it all for
I
you.
need to do that. I need to. AI's scary, but I think I have to lean into it a little.
Uh-huh.
So yeah. No, but I love showing off the brewery. This is an amazing little spot here in our little town, and he does an amazing job with his beers, and everyone needs to know about
Thank you.
the magic he performs here on Locust Street.
Well, I don't do it alone. Got an assistant brewer now, Ethan
Okay.
Marley, who's helping me.
He-
Been a big asset here at the brewery because it allows me to help in the kitchen,
Okay.
help at the bar, run the business,
Well,
deliver
that's
kegs.
being a business owner. You have to learn to work on the business, not in the business. I'm still learning that process too.
Well, when you're short staffed, you got to fill in.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yep.
It is, as an owner, you got to do what you got to do to help continue to make it run.
Right.
Whether you're
It's been a battle. I mean, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
no, and kudos because even though there's been a tremendous amount of breweries starting to close, we're starting to see that. I mean, there's some that are still looking to expand and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So kudos to what you're doing and keeping your doors open.
We have a good core group of people here that work here that are.
We definitely
We
do.
believe in Mike and Jackie and what they have going on here. We love our town, and
Takes us all to keep it rolling.
It does.
it's fun.
So when they walk into Starview Brews, what can they expect? I mean, you said you had 14 taps. You rotate them.
Yep. Well, basically, we have most beers year round.
Okay.
The one we did last year was wee heavy. We only did that one time so far. Because when you got 18 different beers, it's tough to keep everything all the time.
I know you walk into a brewery like Collusion or something like that. You got this huge board.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to be
30
drunk if I'm doing flights of everything.
Well, when I think spring,
You will set flight.
yes. Well, Springhouse, I think you can get 15 beers in your flight. I did that once with a bunch of coworkers.
goodness.
So I'm thinking,
Wow.
and we did it.
Oh, wow. I had a buzz when I left Winter Brewfest last year.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there were like 300 people in 16 breweries. There's plenty of beer to go.
Was there 300 there? I didn't.
That's what I heard roughly.
It didn't look like it was as many there this year that it was last year.
I think it's because of the tents.
Tents.
I think
They had tents last year.
they had
Yeah, they
tents
were able to
last
put
year.
tents up, so it really looked
It
full.
looked
Okay.
a lot fuller. The floor
Gotcha.
looked a lot fuller with the tents.
I gotcha.
And then you didn't have the tents in there, so then you just have the people.
And with the indoor venue, I'm like, you don't really need a tent.
No,
Now, outside, most definitely.
yeah, but I tell you what, it's a great event. It's a great, perfect time of the year because everybody's
is.
looking for that end of winter blues to get ready for
Cabin
spring.
fever, man. Get me out and get me some beer.
Yeah.
Like some other beer nerds. And I just,
Are you
I,
a beer?
I am a beer nerd. Oh, yes. I was in my, I just had so much fun.
So,
It was
what was your favorite beer at Winter Brewfest?
I enjoyed.
And don't say Starview.
I was just going to say.
You get that all the time.
So I warned him on the way there that I will nerd out because this is my first official beer fest that I worked.
Oh wow!
I went down to the craft brewing conference in Nashville 2 years ago. That was just amazing. So I'm thinking, yeah,
I think it's awesome. We got a female
love it.
that's a beer nerd.
I know. I love it. It became my hobby during COVID. The school shut down for a little bit for half of us. So I just got in the Jeep and went from brewery to brewery. One time I drove to Ben Salem to Broken Goblet just for something to do for a day. So
Shit,
yeah.
you are a beer nerd, man.
I call it beer tripping. I said, we'll drive 4 beers. Yeah, that was fun.
Sure you
But
can get a bummer.
I got there and I got to meet some breweries that I wouldn't have gotten to on the other side of the river yet.
Right.
We were next to Liquid Hero. Those guys are awesome.
Oh yeah.
Vortex,
Yeah.
sweet lady. They were great. And
They're good people.
they were
Ed and I used to do bulk grain buys.
really.
Yeah, it's
Back when he was on
Yeah.
run. Yeah.
Their beer Onyx, that was
oh my
that
god,
was
that
amazing.
was freaking
Oh,
amazing.
for a second one.
I need to get down and visit their brewery.
I had a hard time debating whether it was the Onyx from Vortex or the Barrel and Stave from Sign of the Horse.
Yes. Yes.
So those were my
Mhm.
two go-tos. I mean, the Procrastinator is always a go-to.
That was I think
That was our most popular one.
that was the underdog of the day. And like he said, we didn't win one of the top 3 beers, but I think we were still a crowd favorite. People
Yeah.
were coming back. They're like, we hear you have a double bock.
Well, we had a couple come in after here,
Yes.
and I told him about the crab cake. She ordered a crab cake and loved it. And he loved the Procrastinator.
Hmm.
You probably saw the guy. He's 6'10".
He stood
He stood above everybody.
Yeah, you look at the crowd, and here he was. Yeah, he kept on coming back, and I turned the corner. We unloaded, and there they were sitting at the bar. I said, "You're
Yeah, they were here before we got back.
That's pretty cool. That's a cool part about these festivals.
yes."
Yeah.
And we had a couple patrons on that was their first beer festival,
Mm-hmm.
and they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And we had Ed, who last year that was his first ever going to a beer festival, and he did not like craft beer.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was when he walked in, he didn't like crap.
Yeah, so now he is a craft beer aficionado. He loves IPAs, which we shocked me.
Yeah.
But we had him back on. But these festivals get, like you said,
Mhm.
you don't get to go visit every brewery.
Now,
Yes. No.
And this is a good way to sample everybody and
Right.
build a camaraderie and network with you guys.
Yeah. Oh wow. What was the other brew? Was it Scrubbies?
yes,
Oh, Emery? Oh, Emery's awesome.
They were so much fun.
he had a Roggen, and I was surprised
Yeah, it's good, Rob.
because I have a Roggen.
Do you?
Mhm.
Hardly anybody brews a Roggen.
Mm-mm. No.
And I gave Dave a taste of it.
Yes.
He enjoyed the Roggen.
So when we had Emery on the first time, in studio. We met him at Brew Kids on the Block a couple years ago.
Mhm.
We talked about, I brought up about ESBs, the
Yes.
extra special bitters.
Yep.
Because
Hardly anybody makes them.
no, and he's like, let's come up with one. So we came up with a recipe, and I brewed it. And Gift Horse, I think Jason wants to kind of put it on tap, but you can't call it a bitter.
No,
Got to call it a pub ale.
that
There you go.
Matt, a Big Dog, and I did.
Yep,
We did a collab.
That was
It's
really
an
good.
English pub ale. I just don't have it on tap right now.
Yeah.
I got 2 kegs left.
it's coming. I'm starting to see more and more breweries starting to brew that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good beer.
It is. So yeah, Emery does some traditional styles.
Yep.
I mean, with doing what we're doing, we've met, Martin down at Gunpowder Falls is traditional German beers.
Right.
And I like everything he puts out. So
Yeah.
have you bet anything that you do that's traditional, or do you, like you said about this Czech Pilsner, you like out over the German?
Well,
We got patrons that are kind of bashful walking
wait
in.
as you go by.
You're
Wait,
fine.
going by.
Yeah, we do a lot of traditional styles here.
Okay.
I mean, the long level lager is a Dortmunder, German
Okay.
Dortmunder beer.
All right.
Which is kind of a little more flavorful of a Helles.
I do.
It's
And
kind of
Helles
cool.
is a light lager.
Yeah.
It's a lighter beer.
Yep. And it's actually our biggest seller here.
Okay.
I do, of course, a traditional Czech Pils, which is what we had with the Imperial Bisque. I do an alt beer, a German alt.
That's another style that's not very well.
Not too well done. I do a Hefeweiss year round. I do the Ragen, which is a rye Hefeweiss year
Yep.
round. I do a traditional Doppel Bock. And yeah, I like to keep the traditional styles going. Besides, we have 3 IPAs. We do have IPAs. I have a shirt that says because there's more to life than just IPA. Not that I don't like them, because I do like a good IPA.
I do too.
I just like variety.
Right.
I like going to a smorgasbord when it comes to beer.
And it's
Yes.
that's where the flights come into play.
Mhm.
When you come
Yes.
into a place, you can sample stuff.
Yep.
But if you talk to a non-craft beer person,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing they think of, oh, I don't like all that hoppy beer.
Yeah,
They
they
think
think
of
of IPA.
IPAs. The problem is hops in every fucking beer there is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just the amount you use.
Yeah.
Do I use a pound of pepper? Or do I use a tablespoon of pepper?
All right, so we have another pairing here we're gonna do.
Yeah, let me get, I'll go out and get the pizza and bring it in.
Okay.
Now, the pizza's probably going to be a little cold.
That's fine.
Keep that in mind, but you'll get the good full flavor.
All right, let's get that set up. All right, so Mike, tell us about this flatbread and the beer that you're picking here.
The next thing we're having here is our flatbreads, which we have every Friday. That's a special every Friday, Flatbread Friday.
Okay.
As I mentioned before, I get the flatbreads from Frank. It has Sunny Days Flatbread Company in Lancaster.
Now, is he just providing you the
flatbread.
the bread, the rest of the toppings and stuff? Is
We
all
do
you-
right here.
Okay.
We do it right here. We can customize our pizza that way.
Okay.
And that way, we don't have to mess with pizza dough. It's a lot of extra work. And for the money, it makes sense for us to just get the flats.
And every Friday they can come in here and get a flatbread.
Correct. And we have basically pretty much gourmet flatbreads. I mean, we have the plain pepperoni, but then we have, this is the Brussels and bacon, which has the balsamic vinegar on it.
Okay.
We also have one called the Stinkin' Rose, which is a garlic pizza.
I had
The Stinkin' Rose. It's the Stinkin' Rose. you know?
stinking rose. Give me stinking rose.
A friend of mine is the one that taught us how to make these. Mark was going to be part of the brewery, but ended up moving away. But he did show us how to make these flatbreads.
Okay.
That's
So
good.
I got to give him credit for it. And the Stinkin' Rose, basically, I roast 4 bulbs. It would be like 4 bulbs of garlic. That I roast them in the convection oven.
Okay.
Then smash them and make a spread with cheese, ricotta cheese, and that's the spread. And then it has mushrooms, arugula on it. If you love garlic, you're gonna love that pizza.
Well, I will pass on the garlic and thank God you didn't choose it today.
I'm sorry. I like garlic.
My wife hates garlic, and I love it.
Yeah.
So it keeps
Yeah.
her away from me right here.
Well, do you know who else hates garlic? Vampires.
It's all right.
Hey, look at that look.
I knew you were going there. Don't mess with me.
We have
My skin is glistening.
we have two two other ones. We have a tri-tip steak panini sandwich.
Oh,
Yeah, that's not the panini sandwich, the flatbread.
Mhm.
And then we have a pork carnita, okay, that we do. So yeah, they're basically pretty much gourmet pizzas. People love them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Let's
it's
start
giving them something to eat, and then you're pairing it with what beer?
We have the Procrastinator,
Okay.
Oh,
which I think
okay.
would
Mm-hmm.
pair well with this.
I think because of the maltiness of this procrastinator.
Yes,
So this is, tell us what the procrastinator is so people know.
it is a Doppel Bock style.
Doppel Bock. So you're going to
Doppel
get
Bock.
some sweetness out of the malt.
You
and
get some
bready
sweetness
notes.
without being too sweet.
Right.
So good.
You don't want it to be chlorine sweet.
So
It's
let's
a
see,
traditional Doppel.
Take a bite here.
take a bite of the pizza.
Mm.
Can be a little flimsy. The beauty I like of this flatbread pizza,
That's
I'm pre-diabetic. The real thin crust, I can eat an entire one and my sugar doesn't go over 175.
Wow.
Now for me,
As long as you stay under 180, it's good.
I am not a fan of Brussels sprouts, so I pick my Brussels sprouts off a little bit. But I still have some on there. But it's still good.
Try, they're basically pan roasted.
I'll give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
It gives them a different flavor.
I think the procrastinator does. That sweetness of that malt and the bread notes in it.
Mm-hmm.
And your sauce has a real sweet flavoring to the
Does.
sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Does.
Now,
Yes.
not to get, I'm getting into an area you may want to cut out, but doesn't Sally make a very good Brussels sprout?
You're asking the wrong person. You're asking me. I can't remember the last
You talking about my wife?
Yes, your wife.
I don't know. I don't eat fucking Brussels sprouts either.
See it for
Well, sorry.
You are now. They take a different flavor this way.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was over at his house, and Sally had a plate of Brussels sprouts. Well, actually, it was a container, and she had taken it out of the oven.
Gotcha.
And I just looked at him and I says, "Oh, I gotta have some of this."
I think the bacon and the Brussels and just the combination of flavors on this pizza go well. We
That's
sell a lot of these
Yeah.
here.
That's a very good pizza.
Here on a Friday night, everyone's just so happy with the flatbreads. People
Wow.
come here just on Fridays, just for the flatbreads. But
We had customers that want it all the time, but it was like, that'd take away from the special night.
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
That is very good.
That's good.
Even the Brussels sprouts.
I'm not a
See, we're making a believer out of you.
same here. I was never a Brussels sprout, but with everything else on here, it's
Mhm.
really
I
good.
think I think the procrastinator kind of really, it brings a different profile to the pizza.
Mhm.
But just the hint of balsamic.
Right.
There's not a
A
lot.
little bit in there.
But when you catch everything on the same bite, that is just amazing. That's my first time having this one.
Is that right?
Yeah, this is amazing. Wow.
So, what are your thoughts on the beer with the pizza? Or would you suggest another one?
No, I think this is perfect actually, because I was anxious to see.
Morning.
I was anxious to see
How
if
you
he was
doing?
going to pair with it.
Doing good.
I kind of
think it's
told him the procrastinator would be good because of the malt, the malt characteristics and the bread notes you're going to get out of that
Yeah.
style.
Goes well with this.
Go well with the
Perfect.
pizza.
Does.
It's absolutely perfect. It balances it out just perfectly.
And that sauce, like you said, is good. It's a sweet sauce.
Yeah, it's a little sweet and it's got a good flavor. Like I said, I don't eat Brussels sprouts. I don't eat asparagus.
I thought it was called asparagus.
I
don't either.
Cuss for asparagus.
I'd sooner eat asparagus than that.
By the way, I love that asparagus roasted on
Do
the
you even know
grill.
what to say half the time with some of this?
No, I just looked down on the floor to see where this conversation has gone.
He's from
See-
here.
That's great.
Oh my! Now you know a different term for it.
I, I'm not a asparagus fan either.
Okay.
I've eaten some of it, just didn't particularly care for it. My wife likes it. She really likes it.
Growing up, I hated it. I didn't like it.
Same.
And then had a family gathering around 2000. I ate something, and I went, "Wow, this is good."
Let me ask you: do you eat green peppers?
I do.
No, don't worry about that. That was just the $1 million.
Oh, that one in pieces.
It's the it's just one of my controllers. Anyway, yeah, she likes the green peppers and she likes asparagus.
Asparagus.
I'm learning
Yeah.
so much today. It's not.
It's got to be cooked right. And throw a little bit.
It
of
has.
One
It has.
is broiled,
Yes.
okay, with
Uh,
seasoning.
Yes.
That's the best, like gazebo room dressing, at the top of it, and then broiled.
Yeah.
Delicious.
No, she likes it. I put it on the grill for about stop. I know it was just.
That's where my wife.
I knew it. I should have never
Oh,
opened it.
wheels turn.
I knew it was coming.
My grill's calling me.
That's an insight. I guess I got to explain it for anybody that was wondering what the hell we're talking.
We've already
Yeah,
explained it, remember? But Amy's
We
like,
know there's,
I have to know.
we want to know the rest of the story.
Yeah,
Paul Harvey.
yeah, Paul Harvey. That's the story. No, it's just I had gotten a new grill and I don't know what it was. As I walked over to Brett's house, and I had the grill running, and I had
Oh.
some brats on it. So I walked over,
Oh,
and my phone goes off and sends me a message, and it's the grill telling me that the brats are done.
your
Well, that's
grill
cool.
tells you the brats are done?
Does Bluetooth?
Yeah,
Wow.
and he couldn't get over it. Like I said, oh wait, hold on, my grill's calling me. I go,
Your girl?
That's what I said. That's what I said. Your girl's calling you? No, my meat's done. I'm like,
Oh,
okay.
That's what they call it nowadays. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Said I got that phone call from a hooker and my meat was done.
was it overcooked?
No, she asked for a refund.
you know what happens when the hot dogs shrivel up to the
Oh my goodness.
It was cold. Shrinkage. Oh my god.
Oh.
Like this.
So now you like a Brussels on a pizza.
That's very good.
Yeah.
I
It,
would
it
say
definitely gives them a different flavor when you do that.
you don't really taste that Brussels sprout, really.
Well, when it's pan seared, you know, in olive oil, and I use smoked salt.
And then you're putting some balsamic vinegar on it with
Yeah.
that sweet tomato sauce on there.
Yes.
I think that all blends well with that pizza. I think the Procrastinator would be a highly recommended pairing with that.
Yes.
Of course, like I said before, any beer goes with food for me.
Mhm.
I'm with you.
Mhm.
I'm with you on that.
But it was funny, taking the sip of the Doppel Bock before taking the bite is one thing, but then after having the pizza, it brings out the sweetness more.
Right.
For me personally, because everyone has their own flavor stuff. But yeah, I think it's the perfect pairing with that. You're making a believer out
Yeah.
of me today.
Actually,
That's why I wanted you to sit down.
Yeah.
It got you going.
We have a mystery starter.
I know.
And their own conceptions.
True.
Flavors.
I
And it's funny
believe-
how your taste buds change. Come on in.
Because I believe that vegetables are best when
Bars
drowned
open.
out by mashed potatoes.
Oh, I love them. I love mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Growing up in this area,
Yeah.
meat
Well, the reason I don't like some of the Brussels sprouts
Mhm.
and asparagus,
Just boiled in butter.
that's how my mom did it.
Boiled in butter. That's
It-
why I grew up with them.
And I would tell my parents, look, my dad would grow asparagus. I said, nothing fucking eats that plant. The rodents and the rabbits don't even eat it.
Tell us how you really feel about asparagus.
Why are we eating it? It's a weed.
yeah, if you think that's bad, you should ask him how he talked to his grandmother.
My
Oh no, your mother.
Oh, my mother.
Your mother.
When I asked her to pass the fucking mashed potatoes.
that one.
Did you have a hand mark on your face?
No, but I got that look.
Oh,
It was when I got home from boot camp in AIT. I was home for a little bit. And sitting at
And you really wanted more mashed potatoes.
I did. I just said, can you pass the fucking mashed potatoes? And I got that look. I'm like,
Oh, I'm not at boot camp no more.
eh?
see, my sisters and brothers all went up the street to Holy Trinity Catholic School here, and the nuns watched over you to make sure you ate. So my sister would stick her
Nobody swore
vegetables
for
in the pockets of her school uniform.
Oh.
Forget about them until she.
Oh
I
no.
love those stories.
Oh my goodness.
That's the kind of house I grew up in. We were not vegetable people.
Oh my goodness.
So, wow. But then coming here to a brewery out of all things, is amazing.
well,
It's
again,
so cool.
There's a lot of brewers that love to cook as well.
Yes.
And the thing is, and we've talked about this numerous times, if you're going to have a brewery, you almost have to have something other than just beer to
Yes.
keep them here.
You definitely
Because your idea is there's a cost to every seat in your place
Right.
that you need to bring in revenue style
Yeah,
every
rent.
day.
Rent doesn't go down. Goes
No.
slow.
Yeah.
So if you don't offer them choices other than just beer, you're going to lose them. They're going to come in and sample your products and then go find some place to look for either food or if it like I said, you're a woman.
Yeah.
Females don't normally like beer.
Well, you're seeing a lot of that change there.
There are
There's a
starting
lot
to
of
change.
women
We had a
being
couple on
Yeah.
this past at the Winter Brew Fest. That was their first beer festival, and they
Yeah.
loved beer.
Yeah.
But if I bring my wife to a place, they got to have something other than beer.
Well, that's why we have the cider, the wine, the mixed drinks.
Right.
I agree.
So you got to have
Yeah,
you got to have for that variety to keep people here and attract them in.
Exactly.
Right.
And first off, the two food samplings we've done,
Yeah.
kudos.
I'll say that. Absolutely.
That alone will bring somebody in. And I would highly encourage if they've never come down here to visit you, just either, even if you don't like beer, come in and get the
The food.
food.
Food's very good. The food rivals some restaurants.
And
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
what years my wife was a kitchen manager at elementary school. And we've been foodies. I grew up. My dad was the one that started it on all of us kids. I'm one of 8 kids,
oh wow,
and majority of us love to cook.
Yeah.
You know, and that came from dad.
That's-
I mean, mom cooked, but dad did the exotic gourmet stuff. He would do the Sunday meals.
so he
The
did.
love of food really came from my father.
Yeah.
I love the food. I just don't always like to cook it.
Yeah.
I love to cook. It's the dishes.
Yeah.
That was my wife when I met her. That was what she said.
That's why we're eating off of these
Paper plates.
Well, she's the only one back there right now. That's why we're eating on paper plates.
It's fine.
Yeah, she brought the tray out with all the food on it.
Yeah.
And it was presented nice. You'll
Nice.
see pictures. It'll be up here somewhere.
That's the way it's
It's
presented.
going to be right here.
That's, but I took the pictures of the food so that we could put them on the site.
Yes.
And the thing of it is they're beautiful spread, nice
Yeah.
dishes.
That way the customer sees the way
Yeah.
they're going to get it.
Yeah.
They're not going to get it this way.
And I've mentioned numerous times, I have no problems coming to a place, paying the extra money. I really don't. Right. If the presentation's
quality.
good, if the quality's good,
Yeah.
even for the beer, it's nothing for me to go to DJ's at Westgate and restock my fridge and spend $80 to $100.
Right.
I don't mind because I know
Is
I
that a new owner?
have
Is that a new
the
owner at
means.
DJ's?
What's that?
Is that a new owner at DJ?
No, it's a thing.
Still Jack.
Well, Jack, his grandson Sebastian has been running it.
Okay, gotcha.
But I have the means I can do that. Not everybody has those kind of means.
Right.
But I don't mind spending it when the food is really good.
Right.
Like, I'd come down here and buy that Imperial Bisque for $33.
Right.
I don't have a
Right.
problem with that. It's fucking delicious.
It's a real treat.
And it's going to
Yes.
fill you up because it is rich.
Yes. You're going to be full after eating a bowl of that.
I think I came.
That could actually, depends if you got a lighter appetite, that could almost feed 2 people.
Well, I came down here and I got the crab cakes, and then when they came out, they were 2 huge crab cakes.
yeah, you got the double. You got the double.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, one of them's going home.
Did that make your wife happy? Did you get
I
some
did. I took it home, and I bought the seafood bisque that day and took.
Oh, you
that
did
home.
get that. Okay. Okay.
Now I gotta interject. That's like the first time he's made his wife happy.
Wait, 11
You know him pretty well.
That's why we love doing this. We get to pick on each other.
I want to ask you guys a question though. So, like, the whole food thing, do you think COVID changed that? When the rule came down that you had to have food with your beer?
Well, we know stories about when breweries were open at that time.
Yeah.
They had to have food.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't get me started on food.
I know, right?
I think COVID changed things. I think it made people realize that the world works and we can work and operate in a different capacity. We just talked about it on the way here.
Yeah.
The online ordering,
Yes.
DoorDash, that kind of stuff.
That really came out of that.
That really came out of that. Working from home. Businesses saw they can still work have employees work
You're-
from home and not have all that cost of the building.
Mhm.
No,
Yep, we're ready.
Oh, okay.
go ahead.
Because for me,
No, thanks.
Same point.
I thought he had the happy finger going.
The one thing I think going on now, I think we're getting back to where things were before COVID.
oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you still see some people wearing masks, and
I do.
don't get me wrong,
Well, the flu's going around now.
the flu's pretty.
Yeah.
My Jackie had it several weeks ago.
Mhm.
She got it back. So yeah, it goes around. It does.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to go down that road, with people getting sick, because they do.
They do, yes.
I've never gotten the shot, and people that I know that have gotten sick
Right.
have the vaccine.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what they injected me when I went in the military.
True.
You walk down that
You know
line,
what they injected
Oh,
you
yeah.
with?
I have no clue.
The FU word.
Yeah. And you were supposed to walk down, and they got you in each arm. Wham.
Actually, what?
No idea.
Like before COVID, it was nothing for me personally. This is just me to go into a brewery and just get a beer. Yeah, because that's what they were there to do. But I found that COVID made it more of an experience then because you were forced to have food with your beer.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people got accustomed to that.
And it's, in my business, it was a lot of mechanics that wanted to open their own garage, had no clue.
Exactly.
So this is home brewers
Yes.
that wanted to open their own place because people probably said, "Where can I get this?"
Yes.
Oh, I got aspiration. I'm going to open a brewery. You open a brewery, but you don't have food.
Exactly.
All of a sudden, your initial burst
Mm-hmm.
drops down here,
Right.
and you
Exactly.
can't sustain it.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I think
But-
a lot of things have changed.
The one thing it is different. Running a restaurant is different than running a brewery.
It's a lot different.
And I've been learning how to do both.
And if you can sustain it, I hope you do, because I love coming to places like this, because back when I grew up, you went to a bar,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
a nightclub,
Mm-hmm.
or a restaurant. You didn't have all-in-one family-friendly environment.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And I think that's where the craft industry is really taking the next step.
Exactly.
And COVID may have helped that along.
Yeah.
Our goal here going forward is to get cans, 12-ounce cans, and start distributing.
Start getting your word out a little farther
Well,
reach.
Twofold, it gets your name out there, and it'll help bring more people in the brewery
Mm-hmm.
when you do that. That's part of our next goal.
Walking business card.
Yeah. All right, Mike. So we got another food pairing here. What are we doing now?
Our next one is a tri-tip panini steak sandwich. The tri-tip is actually,
Man.
I do a dry rub with it. I sear it 4 minutes one side, sear it 4 minutes the other side. Then it goes in the convection oven with meat thermometer at 135.
Okay.
So when you're getting a tri-tip steak sandwich here, you're getting real steak.
And then what beer are we pairing it with?
This is paired with an English brown porter.
Brown porter.
Yeah, not to be confused with a typical robust porter, which uses some more harder roasted malts. Most of the flavor and coloring in this beer comes from the brown malt. Plus, I use 6 different grains in here. So
Oh,
you
wow.
get a variety of grain flavors.
That's a robust beer.
Well, no, robust has a sharper flavor,
Okay.
and it's usually heavier gravity.
But with your 6 grains, you're not putting a lot of amount into the grain bill?
Well, it's a good balance of the different grains. What I'm saying is I don't use roasted malt.
Okay.
So you don't get the acrid kind of more sharpness you would in a robust porter.
Okay.
English brown is more of a mild porter. But you definitely pick up the different flavors of the grains.
All right. So here's the tri-tip. And I put a little horseradish on mine.
I got some mushrooms.
Yeah, the mushrooms go great with this, along with provolone cheese.
Wow.
You can tell that's not a minute steak.
No, it isn't.
That's very good.
Yeah, it's just
This steak is hand sliced with a French chef knife.
I love your food. I love eating here.
I love mushrooms as well. Mushrooms complement this well. And the horseradish goes great with
I
it.
think the porter complements it very well.
That works well. That works very well.
When we were at the beer fest, a lot of the younger
It's
people,
okay.
they're like, oh, it wasn't a fun beer. Like they had just got done drinking the gray beer at the table behind us that another brewery was putting the sours. Did you guys see it? It was like a gray beer. Well, then they come over to our table with our traditional beers. And I said, just try it. Just trust me. They never had a porter or a Doppel Bock in their life. And the looks on their faces when they tried it. Like expand your horizons above an IPA. You'll be pleasantly surprised. And the porter did it for me. Right? A lot of people liked it.
That's what I always say.
Mm-hmm.
Expand your horizon above an IPA.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. 'Cause
That's very good. I mean,
It
the
is.
porter, I think, is very accentuating.
It's a
that.
very good compliment to the
it
beef.
is.
it is.
It is.
A stout would go well with this as well.
Oh yeah, that dark roasty notes and the nose and the mouthfeel of the characteristics of a grilled steak or a charcoal steak. Like I said, I put a little horseradish on mine, so I got a little bite coming out of that.
That horseradish is good.
It is very good, and that porter's helping subtle that bite.
Gotcha.
So good.
Probably one of
So highly recommend.
So imagine that on top of a flatbread.
What was you going to say, Ben?
probably one of these sandwiches would probably fill me up.
Oh, it does.
It's
Yeah.
it's very filling already, just for a little small bit.
I split that sandwich 5 ways.
That's good.
Yeah,
And is that a good seller? The panini?
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
I usually end up taking half of it home.
Well, I haven't had a bad bite to eat here yet.
Well, I try not to serve that.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You don't bring
Yeah.
the bad food too.
And the food has been great. The beer pairing with what you chose to pair with each plate so far has been phenomenal. So it's definitely worth the while. Now, before we when we took the break, we were talking. You said about the history of the building.
Yeah,
And
this.
the modders have 3 generationals of Colombians in here.
Yep.
So let's talk about the history of the building and Colombia itself.
This building used to stop right here. If you go into the bar, you see a corner wall where it used to be a wall on the backside. This is more like houses back in the 1870s. I saw some old pictures. There's a basement under this part. Back there, it's all slab.
Okay.
What happened was years later, they turned this into a tobacco warehouse. And then they added on this building a couple times. This building now runs from street to alley. It's like 200 and some feet long. And they expanded upstairs and added a roof line to add a third, a section upstairs. And I could see that in the old picture. Matter of fact, I was working with a historical society to get a copy of that and hang it up in here. It shows the building before it got expanded up and built back.
Oh, wow.
So I think it says circa 1900 on the front. I think that's when they made it into a tobacco warehouse.
Tobacco warehouse.
Yes, and there's a lot. If you walk around Colombia, there's a lot of old mansions, beautiful homes in Colombia. The history of Colombia, the canal used to be right here, major thoroughfare for transportation. There were like 8 or 9 iron furnaces along here. So iron was big, and a lot of the big houses you see were ironmasters' homes.
Okay.
So there used to be this used to be a thriving, wealthy area back in the 1800s.
As a spectator, when I first walked into this building, the history that you feel, it's gorgeous. I mean, look at the walls. I mean,
Yeah, so is this still
amazing.
original decor or has this been upgraded?
This is the original one here. My landlord fixed this part up. I built the bar and did all the work in the back.
Because, I mean, if you look,
That's
this is-
tin.
That's tin.
Yeah.
Hand hammered tin.
I don't know if
Or
they
you
had a
don't-
machine that did that. I'm not sure. I think it was actually a machine they rolled them out.
Okay.
Sheets, I think.
But it's cool. It's a cool ambiance in here.
My landlord, Don Murphy's been doing a lot of remodeling in town. Matter of fact, right down here, a half block away, they're going to build the Chip Factory Hotel. Used to be a potato chip factory, and they're putting the Hilton in. They're breaking ground next Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
So that'll be an 80-room hotel going in here into Columbia, which is great with the rail trail here. It's going to be a place where people can get a room coming for the weekend
And they
and ride the rail trail.
and they can stop in at Starview Brews
literally right across the street.
and get a fantastic meal and great beer.
Yeah, Columbia's growing.
It is.
It's on the upswing. It's just
It's nice to
taking a
watch.
while.
I mean, you got Turkey Hill, the Turkey Hill experience here, which is the birthplace of Turkey Hill ice cream. So it's this area is between York and Columbia and Lancaster County is essential to the history of America.
Exactly.
Yes.
And the fact that we're right here across the river, like literally right off the bridge, that makes it a very convenient whether you're from Lancaster or York County.
Now, are they going? They're going to be closing the 462 bridge eventually.
2027.
Oh, so it's a couple years out. So they're going to be redoing it.
And people ask me, are you worried about it? I said, that's 2 years away.
Yeah.
I'm not even considering 2 years away.
I'm more worried about tomorrow than I am in another year.
And we do have an old time jam here on first Saturday of the month, and we have a folk jam. So come on in, sir. Come on in. So what you're hearing in the background, they're tuning up and they're going to have an old time jam.
And explain who that is. They're
Well, there are a bunch of people get together and jam, doing old time music, pre-50s. Eric here from Dillweed, band Dillweed, usually hosts it along with his wife Kim. And we book Dillweed here now and then. They're a folk band, and it's nice to hear a lot of instruments.
Yeah,
You
'cause
see a
were
lot of
describing
old time folk instruments.
what old timey music is. I never knew until I met you and Dillweed.
Well,
they do-
Eric from
they're-
Dillweed's
yeah.
one to clue me in what old time
It
was.
is
There's no
fascinating.
singing.
it's just the
Instrumental.
instruments.
Yeah.
We had Helena Bucket on here, one of our episodes, and they host open live events where people just show up
That's open mic. This is more.
and they just show up with their instrument and just jam together.
Yeah.
I think it's phenomenal what you can attest to this. What musicians can do. They don't have to play together, but they can get together and just throw some music out.
Yeah,
Right.
And that's what you're going to hear here today.
yeah.
So when this is over, you might want to hang around a little while.
Well, we might. Depends on how.
You have to flip a coin. You have to flip a coin to decide who's driving.
Well, we know my son Ben is not driving home.
A few more weeks. All right.
Poor Ben.
But it wouldn't be the first time we left at an establishment where I get home and the wife asks me, "Were you okay to drive?" Absolutely. Would have you have passed a sobriety test? Absolutely not.
Well, you can always call the
This
wife.
the whole way.
There's the thought.
Honey,
You can always call
I'm not home yet.
So, any future plans coming up for the summer? Any different beers that you're going to be putting out, or you got your rotation that you
We
want to
pretty much got a rotation, but we'll be doing some more collabs.
Okay.
Good.
Mad Chef and I will be doing the Star Raven Mad. We called the first one episode 1. It was a barley wine, but it didn't quite hit the mark of what my homebrew was. And gravity ended up too light. So
Okay.
the next one we're going to do at Mad Chef and hit the gravity. So first one was called episode 1, Star Rating Mad. Second one, Star Rating Mad, Revenge of the Hardy.
Okay.
Because it's patterned after Thomas Hardy's Ale.
I love it.
So that's the story behind that beer. So we'll be doing that collab coming up.
All right. So brew festivals. I mean, you guys came to the Winter Brew Fest. Do you do a lot of those brew festivals or not?
We need to keep doing them. We probably do 3 or 4 a year.
3 or 4 a year.
Yeah.
It helps keep your name out there.
It's us.
Because I think you did Booze and Brews
Yeah.
at Clipper,
Did
and
lit
then we're doing the spring fall coming up.
Yep.
Yep,
And then I'm doing one at the Lidditz VFW coming up in May.
that's right.
I have that one going on.
And you said that's a fundraiser.
That is a fundraiser for VFW.
Yep. So I'll be posting about that on Facebook.
And of course, I mentioned St. Patty's Day.
Right.
St. Patty's Day
Yep.
coming up.
Yes.
We'll be making Irish stew and then corned beef and cabbage.
Corned beef and cabbage.
Yeah.
No, that sounds good.
Yeah.
See you there.
You see me there.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. This town loves St. Patty's Day. The week.
I think
before-
everybody loves St.
Yeah.
Patrick's Day.
So I think it's next weekend. I never knew Columbia did something called St. Practice Day.
They start a week ahead.
They practice for St. Patty's Day. So
Well, isn't there one like in November or something or October? They do 6 months till St. Patrick's Day.
I think
There
they
might
did.
be. There might be.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and step away and get us our next.
Yeah, let's get that second we're set up.
Am I still?
You're still good.
Yep.
Alrighty.
It's fuzzy in my.
And we are back.
All right, so you were just talking about some of the history of the building and stuff like that. And Amy, you were just telling us about some of the pictures that Mike you're putting in your property.
Yeah, I was telling about the big painting over here on the wall, the metal.
Yeah, Jim Schweitzer or Jim,
Yes.
not Schwarzenberg.
Forget his name.
Gentleman over in Wrightsville, lives up close to Eastern High School. He's done these. That's actually a picture of the bridge. They had developed on aluminum.
Okay.
Almost looks like a painting. A lot of the other old pictures, there's 4 of them that are original watercolors. Guy graduated high school, Nick Williams. I got him the pictures, and then he did the paintings of it, and it really looked like a picture. He's a very talented artist. So we have a lot of the local pictures and paintings hanging up in the area, local.
So, what's the plans for the future? Stay in this location? You're looking to expand, or are you happy where you're at?
We are staying right where we are. Had plans to try and open another location. The way things are now, it's the wrong move.
Right.
It just, to try and manage 2 is crazy. It's hard to run one.
I think
It's hard to expand and start doing distribution. That's our future plans.
Distribution.
Cans. Distribution with cans. Yeah.
and get your product out there to the masses.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It's kind
That's
of
why
why I
I
asked
think
you about
pattern.
it's kind of where I asked you about the brew festivals, because that's another place, another avenue you can attend these things and get people to
Yeah.
introduce your product to people that may not know you.
Yes.
And we had some of that definitely it's last Saturday.
Oh, for
The double barrel.
For sure.
And I think, I know people have said maybe the brew festivals are dying, blah, 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 but I think overall, a brew festival is great, whether it's a brew festival, wine festival, or whatever. It's a place you can go just pay one fee,
Yep.
and you can see multiple people that you're never gonna, they
Right.
may not have known
Sure.
they existed.
Well, we run into that. We run into
Sure.
that. When we're doing this.
I mean, I think that's where a lot of our connections have come from, is
Oh,
these
yeah.
brew festivals.
Yeah, a lot of the festivals. We had a really good one. What was the one that was up at Strasburg Railroad? They had a.
You went to
I
that.
went to that one,
Right.
and I made quite a few contacts up there of brewers that I didn't know were
Yeah.
even
Right.
around.
Yep.
So
Especially when you're from the other side of the river,
exactly.
which is where I'm from. I work here. I cross the bridge all the time.
Okay. Yeah, that one there is a complete example of being on the other side of the tracks.
Yeah.
So
Actually, there's a customer of ours, Derek, comes in here. He has a job there. He fixes the trains. They machine the parts for those old.
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of. I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to work on one of the locomotives, one of the steam locomotives,
Yes.
just whenever they were repairing them or restoring them. But I got lazy.
But that's why I like over at New Freedom to go to the trains, and then you have Vortex, Gunpowder Falls, and
Yeah,
Mailcraft.
Elcraft.
Elcraft.
That's
Elcraft.
so neat.
Yeah.
We're all close. We're all close to proximity to each other. It's really cool.
All right, so we got one more food pairing to come out of here.
This is our pork mac and cheese.
All right. Dave, you got any final comments?
No, the food is unreal. I mean, it's just really good because we've gone to a lot of places and have had bar food, and a lot of the bar food was good. Some of the bar food that I have had wasn't so good. Anyway,
They pride themselves in not having a fryer. Like everything's fresh.
yeah.
I would like to have added a fryer, but the hood's too expensive.
I
Just the answer system and everything. I thought, you know what? We're just gonna stay electric kitchen.
No, I think
Yeah.
you're good.
think
But
it's
I think, but I think this is great, and I think that we're ending this right on the time.
Come on in. We're open.
The huge rock concert is moving in now, so
Yeah, they've already moved tables and stuff.
We're not-
Getting ready to go.
When you listen to this, it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is so neat.
Just from hearing them tune, this sounds really cool.
And it's
Seeing all
different. It's not just classic rock. Though.
It's part of the
It's given a variety.
building.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's right for this place. It's just so
Yeah.
cool.
All right, so let's talk about the pork mac and cheese.
Well, the mac and cheese is my wife's Jackie's recipe. And then we had the idea, we were using the pork carnita we use. We add that to a barbecue sauce to make a pork mac and cheese, which has proven quite popular. Now, Jackie and I differed. She likes a sweeter barbecue sauce. I like it spicy.
Yeah.
So you like a Texas style.
I prefer that. But she won out. We got the sweet style. And what you have, some people like the sweet, some like the spicy.
Exactly.
So this is our sweet mac and cheese barbecue.
So what do you have to pair with it then?
I have a hazy IPA. You might not like this one, Ben.
Is this the one I had earlier?
That's the one you had.
This is the one that doesn't like the hazy. IPA.
Well, then I'll take your glass.
Oh, okay.
But what I like about his hazy IPA is it's no frills, no fuss, none of this extra stuff. It's just a simple hazy IPA. I love it.
Well, I was
know what?
unexpected. That was pretty good. I was unexpected. I was ready for the good old box mac and cheese taste.
Oh, no.
No, that's the mac
No,
and cheese is phenomenal.
She makes the cheese herself, the dip that mixes in. She does a good job with it.
And the pork is very good. And take a sip of the IPA, Dave. I know you don't like IPAs, but that is
With that
very good
sweetness,
with that.
with the sweetness, yeah.
Right?
The citrus notes, the hop notes, give it a different profile.
It does. So the first time I had her mac and cheese, it tastes like macaroni and cheese that your grandma would make. Like it's definitely a flour-based sauce, homemade on the stove.
She is a grandma.
No, that's true. I'm not calling her a grandma. Oh my gosh, no. But it just harkens back to like an old-fashioned macaroni and cheese, you know?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
It's really good.
I love it. I just love it. Because you don't want anything too cheesy with the pork.
No,
It lets the pork stand out. That's
So-
what I love about it.
everything we had here today was great. The Imperial Bisque. What the heck did we have? The flatbread. We had it was the Brussels and bacon. We had the tri-tips and now the pork bacon mac and cheese. Everything's been great.
We had the appetizer last.
The food is great. The pairings that we came up with today were, I think, spot on. If you do come up with a different scenario of what you'd suggest, by all means, give us a post. Tell us. Mike wants to know. Amy wants to know. And Amy, you can take some of this and say, hey,
Yeah.
CPP approved or Starview Brew approved pairing.
Exactly.
Um,
She did a beer after that. Statler and Waldorf.
I know, Amy, we had to kind of coerce you into sitting down to do this
You
today.
did. You brought me
Now,
up
now you know why I wanted it written down.
Yeah.
You had me seafood and Brussels sprouts.
Yeah. You have any comments before we cut out of here?
No, I want to thank you guys for doing what you're doing. You're helping the industry in the area, and thank you.
That you're welcome.
Getting the names out of everyone. Thank you.
We're glad to be your second or third host for the food and
Well,
fairs.
It's something we've been talking about. We've had a great time coming down here and recording in your place, sampling your products and getting the word out. Ben, any last comments?
No, I'm just savoring all this taste. Food is delicious.
Maybe
Definitely be back.
maybe when we wrap up, I don't know if you want to film a little bit of that.
David
They're pretty good. They're pretty
I
good.
can hear it.
This
They're getting cranked up.
experience right now with that, it's
Well, we're gonna let them
we need.
roll us out while we roll the credits.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna raise our glass.
No.
If you're out there, we appreciate everybody that comes out here. Make sure you come down here to Starview Brews in Columbia, get their food, get their beer, and let's raise a glass with Mike and Amy from Starview Brews and
Thank you so
Dave,
much.
Ben, and myself and the
Thank you.
CPP crew.
Thank
And
you.
let's all be bonded by beer.
here.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.